Earlier this year, I had the unfortunate task of having to put down my dog of 14 years. Curtis was a 5-pound Yorkie who came in a small package, but vast amounts of grumpiness. He was that special thing that I had in my house who just you can't really replicate. For many people who know me personally, and I've also posted it many times, Curtis was my favorite. And I know for a lot of people that sounds weird because I have kids of my own, but Curtis was just something special. He's been in my life for 14 years. I got him when he was 3 months old. And he's been with me through it all, through the worst times, the best times. He's just been there, been that constant thing for me who didn't really ask for much other than food and walks. It's just a special bond that we had, and he will forever be my favorite. Unfortunately for him, in March of 2020, at the height of COVID, he was attacked by a dog that unfortunately led for him to have seizures. It was something that was unfortunate, something that we would never want for him, but even in his small size, he provided a big fight. He surprised both ourselves and the doctors with his recovery period and was able to kind of live through his injuries for the next 2 years of his life. Unfortunately, the injuries and the seizures became too much for him to bear, that we had to make the unfortunate decision to put him down. Well, it was something that I knew was going to happen. It's just when the day comes, it's the suckiest day of life. And it's just not one of those decisions that many pet owners want to make, but unfortunately we have to do what's in the best interest for our pets. And for many pet owners who go through pet loss, it's one of those days that you dread. You know that you're going to outlive your pets, but you just don't want to ever face that day. So in this video blog, I wanted to talk about the grief process when it comes to pet loss. As someone who is going through the grief journey myself, it's important for me to kind of provide the tools and tips for those who are also going through the journey, because grief is not something that you should have to do alone. So why is pet loss so hard? As I mentioned, Curtis was my favorite. It's just that special relationship that is inexplainable. It's beyond friendship and companionship. It's just different. Pets provide kind of that family relationship on a deeper level, and it's just not something that can be replicated. They don't ask for much, which is great for people who live in or work in very intense environments, who always have to provide. To just have something that just doesn't ask for much but only gives love, and that's what pets provide for their pet owners. And losing that relationship is gut-wrenching and hard. The other thing with pet loss and why it's so hard is because pet loss isn't something that's widely accepted in society. There are people who just suck as individuals, who don't understand the importance that pets provide. Pets provide great benefits when it comes to mental health, emotional health, as well as physical health, and should be valued in society as contributors to our health overall. And when we don't feel like we can widely express our grief, it can make pet loss harder for those who are grieving. The other reason why pet loss is hard is because pets provide routine, they provide structure. For those who are depressed, and even for those who are working from home, pets provide just an opportunity to do something different. It allows you kind of a reason to get outside. It gives you kind of an understanding of what you need to do throughout the day. It just gives a sense of routine, a different energy in the home. And it's not something that we acknowledge as important in the moment, but once it's gone, it just feels different and empty. And it's just a different feeling. So pet loss in of itself, because it's not accepted, because we are losing a special bond, and we're also losing kind of a part of ourselves, is what makes pet loss so hard. I want to also provide kind of tips to help you through the grieving process, because it sucks and it's painful. The first being is to allow yourself to feel the feelings. We have to go through the grief journey as much as we don't want to. It's important. And I understand that pet loss is heartbreaking. It's painful. It's sad. It's just overall not something that we want to go through. It's important in order to start the healing process. On top of the sadness, I know that for many pet owners, including myself, when you have to make the choice to put down your pet, you feel guilty about it. You second guess, and you're not really sure if that was the right decision. For me, I've been with him through his recovery journey, and I understand that it was time. It's something I've had to come to terms with over my grieving process, but I know that for him to go through the process of the continuous seizures wasn't in his best interest. And to get to this place took time. And I know it takes time for a lot of pet owners to understand that there's a reason why we had to make that choice. And it wasn't because we were being malicious. It's because it was in the best interest of our pet to stop their pain, which unfortunately means that our pain has to start. So allowing yourself to kind of process these feelings allows you to get to a place of acceptance and start the healing process. It's not easy. I have my days continuously, and we also have our triggers. For me, the weirdest thing that's my trigger and gets me every time is Dos Horitas from Encanto. So for anyone who understands Spanish, and I know that they have an English version as well, it just gets me every time. So we will have our triggers, and we will have our moments when we feel sad, but we also have our moments when we can look back on a picture or remember something that elicits a happy feeling. So there will be times of happiness when we have our memories. It takes a while to get there, but as long as we allow ourselves to process our feelings, that day will come. So it's important to note that while we don't want to be here, we have to go through the journey. Second thing that people need to understand and kind of emphasize when it comes to pet loss is finding that right support. As I mentioned, pet loss isn't something that's widely accepted in society. So finding that right person or that right group who understands the severity of pet loss is essential. It allows you to have space to talk through your feelings, to have someone who can support you through your journey, who can listen to you, who can help you, kind of work through the guilt, work through the sadness, and also someone to help you remember the good times that you had with your pet is important. So finding that right support is crucial. The third thing, and the most undervalued thing through grief, is taking care of ourselves. As I mentioned, pets provide a sense of routine, they provide a sense of structure. And for a lot of people, without that, they kind of get lost in what they need to do for themselves. Making sure that we're eating properly, which I understand is hard through grief, sleeping properly, which I also understand is hard through grief, is important. I'm not asking for you to run a 5K the next day. I'm just asking you to do the bare essentials to make sure that you're doing what's necessary to take care of yourself in this moment. For a lot of people who have responsibilities like family, it can be hard to feel your feelings, but also take care of other people. So allow yourself the space to make sure that you're taking care of yourself, taking care of the responsibilities that you have, but carve out time for yourself to grieve. It can be a little bit of a juggling act, but if you can just find that 5 to 10 minutes, all that you need to kind of allow yourself to remember and honor your pet is important. So making sure that you're taking care of yourself, basic necessities, is important. The next thing is ensuring that you're honoring your pet. For me, I went on an Etsy binge because it was just what worked for me. I know for other people it might be different. I wanted to make sure I had a nice plaque for him with my favorite photo and a nice quote that I keep right in front of like a little table thing. I see it every day. It's right there, right front and center. I also wanted to make sure that I had a special urn for him for his resting place, because I have to let my man go in style. And I also wanted to honor my promise to him to keep him buried with his favorite toy. So I keep that urn right next to my bedside, again, next to a picture of him, so I see him every day when I go to bed and every morning when I wake up. That is my way to keep him connected with me. This blog was originally published on what would have been his 15th birthday as another way to kind of just help me stay connected with him. For me, I want to make sure that while he's not with me physically, he's still kind of represented in our home, because he's my favorite. I can't, explain anything different. So finding your way to honor your pet is important, whether that's having a small memorial service, whether it's having pictures in your home, or, whatever the case may be. Finding that time in that space to continue to honor them is important. And in finale, I know that pet loss sucks. I'm with you. I feel you. It's just not a journey that we ever wanted to take. It's not a loss that we ever wanted to suffer, but it's something that we kind of have to go through in order to allow them peace on the other side, as well as allowing us to heal from the loss that we have suffered. So if you're struggling with pet loss, find that right support system with a friend. Allow yourself the time to grieve and talk it out. Make sure you're taking care of yourself and honor your pet every day that you can. And I wish you the best, guys. See you on the next one.